Hey everyone, RJ here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm giving my full detailed review of the TCL 10 Pro. Okay, so on December 31st of 2020, I actually made a video naming this as the most underrated phone of 2020. That was just basically based on my opinion. However, due to technical difficulties with audio, I had to scrap that video and I was not able to release it before the new year. So I'm giving my review of this phone right now, and I still claim that this phone was the most underrated phone of 2020. And there's a lot of reasons for that. This is a fantastic phone. And if you've never used this phone, never held it, never messed with it, never done anything, you really don't have any say about this phone, because you got to use a phone to know how it actually is before you can actually judge anything. So yeah, but the TCL 10 Pro. Now this phone came out back in 2020. And so today I'm going to just give you my thoughts on it, okay? It may be a little bit lengthy for a video, but I want to give you my thoughts on it, my honest opinions on this phone, and why I think it was really underrated, and just some of the pros, a few cons, some things that needs work on, all that kind of stuff here in this video. Now this phone was sent to me by TCL, but everything that I say in this video is strictly my own opinion, okay? So let's go ahead and get that straight. Now, I will be listing things individually, but of course not in order. You know, it's just whatever I decide to hit on first. But let's go ahead, turn the phone around. Got your in-display fingerprint scanner, and it works great. Just press it, and boom, it's on. And of course, the first thing I want to hit on here is the display. This has a beautiful 6.47-inch AMOLED HDR10 display, coming in at 1080 by 2340 with a 19 by 5 by 9 ratio with 398 pixels per inch. And this has TCL's Next Vision technology. And this display, while you might not be able to tell it on camera, you might see it flickering there a little bit, but that's just because maybe the wallpaper, I really don't know. But this screen is beautiful, and this display gets really bright. As you can see right now, it is pretty low. Let's crank it all the way up there, and wow, you can't see it on camera, but to my eyes, this is a very bright display and a very beautiful display. However, I will kind of tone this back down here just a little bit. So yeah, there you go. Now, one thing about the display that I'm not the craziest about is the fact that it is a waterfall display, or has like an edge to it here, as you can tell. And some don't mind that, but I personally like flat displays. But that really, honestly, it comes with a case in the box, but the thing about it is that you're going to have a lot of mistaps, a lot of false taps here with this phone. I've hit so many different apps by accident, and yeah, that can get very annoying at times. And to be honest, the case that came with it really did not, help with that. However, I did find a case by Tudia. So this is not sponsored, by the way. I bought this on Amazon on my own. But this case here kind of remedied that whole mishap. And I'm going to just kind of throw it in this case here for a moment here. Now, it does cover up how nice the phone does look here, but when it comes to the display, you can see that it does kind of even out there, so you will have a lot less issues by way of mistaps when you're trying to push apps and stuff like that. Also giving you really good edge protection there, as you can see. So we'll go ahead and just take this case back off for the time being, as we really don't need it right now for this video. But yeah, no doubt the display is beautiful here on the TCL 10 Pro. Now, next I want to hit on the performance of the TCL 10 Pro. And this phone runs very well. This phone runs the Qualcomm Snapdragon 675 octa-core processor with an Adreno 612 GPU. So you're getting good mid-range specs here. You get 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of onboard storage with expandable storage. And I know some may say, well, 675 processor, it's, yeah. But I want to be real with you. The 675 processor is strong, okay? I have had no issues, no slowdowns. This thing has just been quick, lightning fast. I have no issues whatsoever when it comes to social media. I mean, I can get on Twitter right now, and I mean, you might see a little chop here and there, but I just now loaded the thing up. But overall, this thing is smooth. It does have a 60 hertz display, which honestly, I could care less if it's got 60, 90, 120, 240. I don't give a rip. But 60 hertz to me is just fine. I don't use 90 hertz on the phones I have. I stick with 60 hertz because to me, I just don't need the extra battery drain, and I don't need the phone to be just a little bit smoother when I'm scrolling. So, yeah. Anyway, performance is great on this device. You do have an optimize button up here, which you can press that and it will just optimize your device. And yeah, no other options, no other things needed. That clears out everything and makes the phone just run that much better. But you can see here, I mean, it's smooth, it's fast, and honestly, you're not going to have any issues with performance. Now, I have played some games on the TCL 10 Pro, and let's go. You know what? Let's bring up Asphalt 9 and just see how well this thing does work under an intense game. Now that we're loading the game up, it loads up very quick. There's no stutters, there's no issues. And looking here, you will see that there's lines going across it, but that's just the AMOLED, and all of that. And so anyway, as you're seeing so far, no issues. So we're going to just play this here a little bit and check for any kind of drop frames or any issues. And I already tell you the answer. There is none. Now, this is set at default setting because I set all my stuff at default. I don't see the point of high performance, nothing like that. But as you're seeing, that I'm not seeing any drop frames. I'm not seeing any freezing. I'm not seeing anything here, okay? Everything is running smoothly, and like a lot of others have said, and like I am saying as well, if you can run Asphalt 9 on your phone and it runs this smoothly, you're going to be able to run any game or any app probably without any hesitation, without any issues. You're going to have no problem whatsoever. So this is just a little clip here of Asphalt 9 here on the TCL 10 Pro. So yeah, performance, very good, very reliable, no problems there. Now next up is the cameras. It's got a quad camera setup with a LED flash on each side and some kind of hybrid autofocus, which you can see right there. And so I'm going to give you a rundown of just what these cameras are and what they can do, okay? It's got a 64 megapixel wide angle lens with aperture of f1.8, a 16 megapixel ultra wide lens with aperture of f2.4, a 5 megapixel macro lens with aperture of f2.2, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor at an aperture of f2.4. And it can record in various resolutions, which I'll get into here when I open the camera app. Now the front camera is a 24 megapixel wide lens with aperture of f2.0 and it can record 1080p at 30 frames per second. So let's go ahead here and jump right into the camera. But let's go ahead and bring up the cameras right now. Now here's the interface. Alright, got your 1x 2 times up to 10x. Here is your ultra wide button there. This button down here, of course, shows original, ultra wide, and low light video. Never really tried that out, but it's there. Now up top here, got your aspect ratios for 4:3, 16:9, 1:1, all that good stuff there. Let's go back into the camera. And you got your HDR mode, self-timer, flash, and of course, all your filters here that you can choose from. Now going to the settings here. Now at photo size, it does show 64 megapixels, but it defaults to 16 megapixel 4:3. Yeah, there's all your megapixels. Down here at video, you can record at 4K 30, 1080, 720, and 480, all at 30 frames per second. You got electronic image stabilization. You have your AI camera, calorie detection, AI composition there, dark shot. Now down here, you will see storage, okay? this does have an SD card slot. So right now there's an SD card in the phone. So if you want to have all of your pictures and videos saved automatically to your SD card, press that, press SD card, and there you go. So if you're recording 4K video in your internal storage and you're noticing your storage is being used up a lot, insert an SD card. Make sure it's powerful enough. You're going to need a very powerful SD card. You know, they're pretty cheap now. They don't cost an arm and a leg like they used to. But yeah, set it to SD card and you can leave everything else, you know, to internal storage. So yeah, watermark, stuff like that. Now over here at more, you see you got your portrait mode, super night mode, slow motion, stop motion, light trace, panorama, super macro, and high pixel. But now we are in video mode, so you can also do 2x up to 10x, or you can do your ultra wide here in your video as well. And so you got your microphone on or off. This button up here, like a little running man, you know, that's off or on for your stability. Back into the settings here. I think it's the same settings and all that kind of stuff. Now, there's a lot that you can do here. Let's go into more and into slow motion. And you can record at 8x 240. And that kind of, okay, 8x at 240 frames per second. 32x at 960 frames per second. Now, you don't get very much video at 960 frames per second, but you do have it, and it is very slow motion. Just be sure you have plenty of light whenever you decide to use that. But you know, here are a few picture and video samples that I took, so let's go ahead and start that up right now. So here's the front camera of the TCL 10 Pro, recording at full 1080 at 30 frames per second. Audio was coming from the device. Now I'm in a pretty dark room right now. I got a ring light in behind the phone, so pretty good lighting going on here. Of course, your lighting is going to be much better if you're outside in natural lighting, but indoors, it's all going to depend on how much light you have. The video quality, of course, that you're going to receive from the TCL 10 Pro. Audio quality, got to see how that sounds here as well. But yeah, this is just a little video sample here of what you can expect from the front camera of the TCL 10 Pro. So there you have it. There are just some sample photos and a video there. Now I will say this, while the TCL 10 Pro can take some good pictures, there is room for improvement in the camera department on the TCL devices. The video, I've noticed sometimes it has a hard time focusing. Sometimes it just ain't clear. It's just, yeah. I believe that the TCL cameras are good in general, but there is room for improvement for video and stuff like that. Now I want to hit briefly here on the battery. This has a 4500 milliamp hour battery with 18 watt fast charging, which means 50% in 35 minutes with quick charge 3.0. I did do a continuous battery test with YouTube. Just play a video in max resolution at like 50% brightness and just let it play. That's what I'm doing now from now on, is as when I get a phone, I can kind of tell you that the battery life is good for me. No YouTuber, no anybody can tell you how good your battery is going to be, because everybody uses their phones differently. However, you know, watching straight YouTube from 100% to around 5%, I want to show you those screenshots right now. But before I do that, here is an example of what I got on a full charge, okay? Last full charge lasted me 2 days and 3 hours and 29 minutes and was 7 hours and 10 minutes of screen on time at 7%. Okay, intelligent app detection was turned on and all that kind of stuff, but the phone ran as usual. So right there is just an example of what I got on one full charge here on the TCL 10 Pro. And here was my battery drain test down to 5%. Last full charge, 20 hours and 5 minutes, and screen on time was 16 hours and 26 minutes. Scrolling over here, you'll see YouTube was 45% of that at 16 hours and 15 minutes. Screen on time, 16 hours and 26 minutes. Phone idle and all of that. So you can pretty much see right there the continuous use, 50% brightness. I was on airplane mode because I had no SIM card in the phone at the time, but that's not bad. 16 hours of continuous YouTube viewing with Next Vision turned on at full 1080 at 50% brightness. That's what I got. That's not bad. Finally, before I finish the video out, I about forgot this until I just remembered it. What would a review be without telling you about the call quality and the reception and all of that stuff? I can go ahead and tell you right now that the TCL 10 Pro's call quality is fantastic. Calls are clear, they're crisp, speakerphone quality is okay. It's got a single bottom firing speaker, which I'm going to hit on in just a minute, and reception is strong with this one, okay? This phone will pick up reception where a lot of other phones won't, especially on T-Mobile. And I got my SIM card in here right now. It's Ultra Mobile, but it says T-Mobile Wi-Fi calling because I still don't have the best reception here in my area on T-Mobile. And unfortunately, this doesn't work on Verizon. So TCL, if you're watching this video and you watch this long video, it would be nice if Verizon was added to these phones. That would be super nice. So yeah, all of that, call quality, reception, speakerphone, audio quality sounds good. However, I do got a bit of an issue, okay? You're spending $450 for this device. Okay, that's retail price. Now, you can buy it for cheaper than that, but I think it's a shame when a manufacturer cannot put stereo speakers on a phone that costs $450. There's phones half this price that's got good stereo speakers and not just a single bottom firing speaker, okay? You know, you got a very beautiful display. It's a pleasure to watch, you know, streaming services and all that kind of stuff. But you give us a bottom firing speaker, just a mono bottom firing speaker. Now, the mono bottom firing speaker sounds good, but it sounds even better with dual speakers. So, you know, it's a shame that you're seeing devices like this here with a bottom firing mono speaker, kind of like all of Samsung's A series, but we won't get into that. But if you can get this phone for around $350, $379, I think it's a good pickup. I think $450 is kind of pushing it a little bit. Overall, sound quality is good, call quality is good, reception is very strong on this phone, and all that kind of good stuff there. So, wrapping this up finally, just a couple of things I want to hit on before ending the video is that this is a really nice device. It is made of like a frosty glass here, so it don't attract fingerprints hardly ever. It has an aluminum frame and a waterfall display. I would definitely recommend wearing the case that it came with or the 2D case that I showed earlier in the video to give it more grip, because this thing here is very slippery. It'll fall right out of your hands. I mean, it just slides around everywhere. So you'll definitely need a case for this phone. The under display fingerprint scanner, when I first got this phone, was not good. It just would not register. After a few updates, this thing, watch it. Just watch it, okay? Boom. I mean, it opens up every single time. I mean, you barely even got to press it. I mean, it's just like, bam, and you're in there. I mean, it is quick, it is fast, and very accurate. So the updates that this phone got really improved the under display fingerprint scanner here. It's got an IR blaster. I can't believe I about forgot the IR blaster. Got the headphone jack. I mean, now some of y'all may think the IR blaster, it's not all that what it's, you know, blah, blah. The IR blaster is really cool, and I'm gonna take just a moment. I know I'm dragging this video out. There's some things that I'm just thinking of right now that's kind of, I'm thinking of. Here is the IR remote, and you can go in here, and it's not just for your TV. If it's set up for TV, setup box, air conditioner, net box, projector, DVD player, air cleaner, fan, amplifier, water heater, all that stuff. So an IR blaster. Let's bring it back, other manufacturers. Headphone jack. Let's keep it, manufacturers. Let's quit taking things away. But I gotta say, this is, in my opinion, the most underrated phone of 2020 for a lot of those reasons. It's just a fantastic phone. And I can really not think of anything other than maybe the cameras need to be improved a little bit. Stereo speakers would be nice for the price point. But if you can find this phone for around $350, I would not hesitate one bit to buy this phone. Recommendation level for this phone is high, okay? I can highly recommend this phone. Please buy a case for it. You're going to need it, okay? You drop it once, it's done for. So that's it. I know it was long. I know it was drawn out. I do apologize. Thanks to everyone who watched it from beginning to end. But if this was helpful and informative in any way, hit that like button. Any questions that you may have, be sure to leave it down in the comments. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications for further videos like this and more to come. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.